Hey, MGTOWs, this is Vention. A while ago, before I did a bunch of stuff today, but in the morning, I saw an excellent video from Ohio Dan, and he's one of my subscribers, and he made an awesome video about the unexpected outcomes of the legal situation between men and women these days, and how it's starting to backfire on women. Not just starting, it is backfiring. And I was quite impressed with that video, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was like 20 minutes long or something. I highly recommend it, and I'm going to stick a link in the more video info. And so if you want to give it a listen, it's a pretty good option. Another interesting thing is that pho soup over there on the counter or on the desk. Those things are very tasty. But my body is telling me that there's MSG in them. I kind of listen to how my body reacts, and it changes when it's under larger levels of MSG. I can get like little cramps in my hands, and especially if I'm like holding something like a pen or a smartphone for a while. The webbing between my thumb and my hand can kind of start tightening up. That's an indication that I'd better not have any more of that for a while. And as far as the surgery goes, I'm very happy. I went to the doctor today, and they removed the staples from my stomach. And I'm going to pause the video in a second and go dump my colostomy bag so I don't gross you guys out too much. Then I might show you the scar. You're supposed to show people your scar when you're getting out of the hospital or something. It seems to be a tradition. One thing that was kind of interesting, I was a lot more bloated and backed up than even I suspected. I mean, I felt like crap, but literally. But anyway, I kind of felt like crap when I just couldn't take a dump. I would be sitting on the toilet for like 10, 15 minutes, and I would get maybe an eighth of a like a big tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon of whatever out, and then that would be it, right? And I was really backed up. And then once I got the surgery, though, they didn't feed me hardly anything. I just had like soup and some tea, and that's about it. And but man, I must have filled the bag 4 or 5 times. I had to keep getting up and kneeling by the toilet and doing the emptying process. Thank goodness for YouTube, man. It taught me how the people on YouTube are so generous with their knowledge. They taught me how to empty this type of bag, and this type of bag is pretty darn awesome because it's a 2-piece bag, and the neatest thing is, depending on which side you want to sleep on, if you want to sleep on your left or the right, you can unclip the little clip, right? And then rotate the bag so that the bag is hanging down, and then you don't get that, what they call pancaking, where crap just builds up over your stoma, right? And I just don't like the thought of that, I prefer it just to drop down into the bag. But basically, when I was in the hospital, I would just fill the bag full of these things that looked a lot like cat turds. I don't have a rectum anymore, and that's where the big turds usually form for people. But I just have the intestine, right, that's just sort of poking out of my stomach wall, kind of like a hernia, but on purpose. But basically, yeah, I must have filled the bag like 4 times, maybe 5. and I wasn't eating anything, but it was just, and every time, I mean, as I continued, I just kept deflating and deflating and deflating. And man, I feel freaking amazing now because I've been backed up for probably a month or so or longer, but now it's gone. And I guess and the doctor said much of my guts were like distended and overfull and struggling with the trying to get rid of that material, and it was just a real bad situation. Imagine what it would be like if we didn't have medical and I wasn't able to get this done. If it got much worse than it got, and there was no hope of having the thing addressed and fixed, I think common sense would have mandated that I pull my little, I'd probably use my shotgun, put a big .88 round in that puppy and take care of business. It's kind of unfortunate, that you would have to do something like that, but without the medical dudes, I would have to do something like that. I'm gonna pause this for a second, empty the bag, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back. Pardon the visual. Anyway, as you can see, I've got a nasty scar all the way down here. I just had the staples removed today, but it's healed up enough that it didn't really bleed, and it's kind of bizarre the way this operation worked. But let me quickly show the bag. This thing is really cool. It has a little clip that you can push down and unlock, right? And then you can take, well, it's kind of hard to do it. Let me see if I can do this. Let's see. That might work. And then I can grab this thing here and this little ring, and I can rotate the thing around into whatever orientation I like. So if I'm sleeping on the right, I can do that, and then if I'm sleeping on the left, I can just flip it the other way. And the operation itself is a fascinating thing, because basically, pardon me, I'm going to have to start over again. Anyway, what they did was they pulled the rectum out, removed it through this whole thing, sewed my butt cheeks shut, and then they pulled this descending colon out and poked it through my stomach wall like a hernia, and then and it's the weirdest thing because I mean, you can feel your guts working, right? And it feels like activity is occurring down here, and yet it's actually up here with as the stoma, right? So basically it's confusing. My body senses that it has stuff down there, like the colon down there, but the colon's been moved and it's now out my stomach. So basically it's a situation where, it's a little confusing, but I mean, I'm sure I'll get used to it, but it's not painful now that I'm healing, it's not really painful, but basically it's a fascinating procedure. But yeah, if this was not available and I was like in the Middle Ages or something, yeah, I would have had to have self-deleted if it got much worse than it was, because man, I don't want to hang on to the bitter end, struggling every last second. That's seems like too much work for a situation where there is no hope, right? But fortunately for me, the infrastructure and the medical industry, it exists, and I have enough Bitcoins to pay for it. So yeah, good times. So basically, to recap the video, I highly recommend Ohio Dan's video, and I was really bloated, and I must have filled this bag 4 times in the hospital as my body started clearing the gigantic, bloated, freaking backed up mess that was in my guts. And then, pardon the stoma, did you hear it fart? The thing is, it has a mind of its own, and you can't control or suppress a fart. It just happens, man. You can't stop it. But and then, of course, about the bag itself, the adjustable 2-piece bag, highly recommended. And these stoma discs that you stick over your stoma, they last me about 5 days. Because I'm kind of fortunate, because a lot of people who have to get ostomies, it's kind of like a colostomy, but it's lower down and it's on the right, and it comes off of your small intestine, and your large intestine just gets completely abandoned or removed. I'm not sure how they do it, but basically, when you're in that situation, the output is much more liquid and more acidic, I think, and the sealing disc is put under much more of a hostile environment, and it's more difficult. So the stoma discs don't last as long for ostomies as they do for colostomies. And I am very fortunate that all I have is a colostomy. I still have 3/4 of my large intestine left. So if I eat right and everything, and I'm not on antibiotics like I am right now, you get solid output. You don't get liquid output. And one really cool thing is I discovered, once you rinse the bag out and roll, and you can take 2 drops of hand sanitizer, just drop it into the bag and seal it up, and it gets rid of 90% of the odor. When I guys, when I was in the hospital and I was evacuating that backup, the stench was legendary. I never smell like that when I take a dump, but man, it was serious. It was like, I can't really describe it, but it was potent. It basically, what it does is, when the smell hits you, it slaps you across the face 3 times, and then it grabs you and throws you on the ground, and it starts jumping up and down on your chest. That's how dramatic the smell it was. But I haven't had anything like that since I got out of the hospital, and I've actually had new material coming out. That 2 drops of hand sanitizer gets rid of the odor problem almost entirely. Some colostomy guys have a problem in public restrooms, because they empty their bag, and then the people in the next stall go, "Oh my God, what is the matter with you?" But in my situation, I should be okay, because I've never had that potent of crap, right? And it's never really smelled that bad, but except for in the hospital. But man, I've walked into bathrooms where other people have left, and the stench is just unbelievable. But I almost never leave any significant stench behind. I don't even keep air freshener in my bathroom, because I don't need it. But anyway, now that I've got the knowledge that just 2 drops of hand sanitizer in the bottom of the bag, it prevents maybe the vapor from the hand sanitizer. Maybe that's what does it, but it basically keeps the smell way down. There might be a little something, but nothing Nothing like what I've smelled from normal, regular people leaving the bathroom. Okay, Big Toes, that's about all I got for you. I hope I didn't gross anybody out too bad. And don't get married. Oh, one last thing I forgot to mention. Oh my God, I just forgot it again. Hold on. Pardon the senior moment. I actually forgot what I was going to say, and I was thinking of it like a minute earlier. Man, don't get old, guys. What I wanted to say that I'm progressing as well as far as the diapers go. I only need one diaper in throughout the day now, and one while I sleep overnight. And whereas before I was filling a whole kitchen garbage bag full of those things, and I've used like 5 packages of them so far, and I'm down to the last package, but I think that that's probably going to be it. I don't think I'll need any more. So yeah, good times, and don't get married.